Hello, all. Hello, Gonzo.
Hello, mate. How are you? All right.
Yeah. Not too bad. The window's shut. Are you glad it's shut?
Well, there's no windows in here, mate. To be fair.
But what about the transfer window? Are you happy that's shut, or do you miss the sort of
Yeah, I
rumours?
think normally I quite like the transfer window. To be honest with you, quite like the rumours and seeing who's going to come in. But I think by the end of it, probably because of the Payet thing as well, and because I sort of knew nobody exciting was going to come in, I was pleased to see it shut. It was. In fact, last two transfer windows have been a bit. I don't know. It's just not exciting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. Well, we're going to come on to why that reasons of non-excitement may be. But let's go through the transfer window so we can get over and done with, and we don't have to speak about it again until the summer. But the main one, I suppose, well, was Payet going out. But were you happy with him? What we got in the end? Because when we did this show a couple of weeks ago, or that I wanted him gone, and I said 25 million was my biting point. We got 25 million plus a sell-on clause, which I think is a really good deal actually. Just in case he plays up at Marseille, but you wanted him to rot in the reserves. So are you happy with this deal eventually? Did you change your mind?
I don't know if I changed my mind, but I almost didn't care by the end of it until so we got rid of him. And then I don't know who did it. Somebody did it. It might have been in one of the newspapers. Maybe it was Sky. Put together a compilation of all his best moments, but not just the free kicks and the goals. Actually, it was almost every step over, every pirouette, every nutmeg. And I watched, oh no! And I felt really got me quite down actually. I was quite down about it. Not that I knew he was never going to come back. I knew he could never play for West Ham again. I just thought, oh, do you know what? He was mustard. He was absolutely brilliant for us, and I was a bit gutted to that it sort of played out like it did. Really, he was so good. I was just gutted how it all happened, and the fact that it's like being rejected, isn't it? Really, he just didn't want to play for us anymore, and that's pretty crap.
The Where does he rank for you? You're a bit older than me. So where does he rank for you in terms of the best you've seen at West Ham?
It's my birthday on Sunday.
Okay, but where does Payet rank?
Yeah, I'm 1 year older than I was last time. To be fair, he sullied his reputation. Really, I mean, he could have been a legend.
No. I think we have to remove the what he's done part and let's talk about talent. Let's talk about what was seen of him when he was playing in the shirt type thing. You're going to have to do it. So who was it? For me, he was the best I've ever seen at West Ham.
Yeah,
He overtakes Canio slightly, and I think Tevez was individually a great talent as well, but he beats both of them for me.
yeah, and the same, probably the same for me in terms of natural talent. I saw Devonshire play. Devonshire was very good, very good player, excellent actually. And I saw the last 3 years of Trevor Brooking, who was a really good player. And it would be wrong to say Payet was better for West Ham than Trevor Brooking or Devonshire. Clearly, he wasn't better for West Ham. But actually, in terms of natural talent, he had it all. And if that boy had application and he had the right attitude, if he had Jordan Henderson's attitude, for instance, if you know what I mean, or that work ethic, Frank Lampard's just retired. Someone that
Or
works
Mark
hard.
Nobles.
Or Mark Nobles, there you go. He'd have been, he could be the best player in the world, absolutely, but he just didn't. He didn't have that. And you say about him leaving Marseille, it probably is a good deal. He probably will because that's what he does. He probably will go to China for 40, 50 million in a couple of years because they can afford it, and he can't. He just can't stay in one place for long enough. But yeah, he's as good as I've seen talent-wise. I'd have to say.
Well, Dimitri Payet talk over and done with. Hopefully, we never have to mention him again on this channel. I don't want to mention him again. So let's talk about the two players we've signed. We also signed Nathan Holland as well. We don't know him. Let's not talk about him too much. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll be speaking about him in the future in a year's time or something. But Font didn't have the best debut, but it was against City. It was one to forget against Southampton tomorrow at the weekend and Snodgrass as well. You happy with what we got then?
um, no, no, not really. And that's nothing against them. I'm sure they're perfectly decent. Snodgrass looked all right when he came on as well against City. I think it would be unfair to judge Font on that performance and what happened. The whole team were pretty bad. So So no reflection on them. But no, I wasn't happy with what I saw coming, and it wasn't what I expected, wasn't what I anticipated. The whole lot, to be fair, when we did the move this year, I think I was expecting players to come. I was expecting players to. I've only just thought of this. I was expecting players to come in and play alongside Payet, who were of comparable quality. So I thought we'd have Payet and a striker of that sort of quality, and then a couple of other players. I certainly didn't expect. Dare I say it, I didn't expect us to lose Payet and for Journeyman to come in. That wasn't really part of the plan. So I just found it hard to get excited about it, really.
I think Font's a top Premier League centre back. I'm happy with that one. Snodgrass, like I said, I'm on the fence, more pro, but it's short-term solutions, and we're going to have to revisit both of these players in 2 years' time and say who we're buying to replace them. And it's just a little bit repetitive, you know. Next summer we're going to be, I mean, this summer already we're going to be talking about who's replacing Arbeloa that we got last summer. And it's just short term, which is a bit frustrating. But Oxford went to Reading on loan to play under Jaap Stam. Fantastic move for him.
Yeah, absolutely. As I think you said it yourself, he's playing under one of the top Premier League central defenders, which is really good. They play a style of football which we like. It's 15 minutes from me, Reading, actually. So I'm thinking of maybe going down there one day and just making sure he plays in the team. I don't want to go down there and he's not in the team, but if he starts to play regularly, I might pop along for one game and have a look and just go on Reece Oxford watch, as it were, you know.
I tell you what, even if he doesn't play, because it is going to be hard to get into that team. It is going to be hard. They are at the right end of the table, pushing for promotion. It's going to be a risk putting an 18-year-old in there. But on the training field, he should learn a lot under Jaap Stam. He should learn a lot. If Jaap Stam gives him sort of mentoring, and he's got no right to. You know, Jaap doesn't have to give Reece individual mentoring, etc. Because it's not. He's not a Reading player. He's a loanee, so he doesn't have to give him special treatment. But if he can just learn a few things off Jaap, tap into his experience and his sort of advice a little bit for the next 6 months, fantastic, invaluable. It's the type of stuff you can't buy for footballers. Brown went to Wigan, made his debut against Man United, almost scored with his first touch. Samuelson's gone to Peterborough, but he's struggling to get off the bench, actually. Samuelson, he's still not getting game time, and that's at Peterborough. And then Martinez has gone to Oxford, scored with his first shot for Oxford, I think, with that header. Very good header, actually. Did you see it?
I did, yeah. It looked a really good goal. He sort of had to generate the angle and the power himself and tucked in the corners. He had a lot to do. It wasn't just a tap, I don't know what you call a tapping header. What do you call a tapping header? Well, it wasn't easy. He had a lot of work to do.
Glancing header, I think is what they call it. That's what they call tapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it's a tapping header, that's what what it is really, but they call it a glancing one just so it's a little bit better. They didn't need to put the powers in the cross. It was just a glancing header. That's how they call it these days. Yeah. But you're right, he had to do everything. He had to change the direction of it. He had to stoop. He had to get power on it. But absolutely fantastic goal. But let's talk about what we didn't do in the transfer window, because that's what infuriates me, actually. I've got really wound up about this last couple of days, to be honest with you. What's your thoughts on the whole striker scenario and Scott Hogan's thing?
Well, just on the striker thing, it's sort of a little bit on the other point, and it's not really my point. It's a point somebody else made, so I'm going to steal it because it was really good. So apologies. It was on the forum or it was on Twitter. I can't remember. And somebody said we could have signed any of these players at Upton Park. And I thought, what a great point, actually, because actually the whole point of moving to the Olympic Stadium, a London Stadium, was to allow us to compete and bid for a higher calibre of player. And when he just made the point, I actually thought, well, absolutely, we could have signed Font if we'd have stayed at Upton Park. We could have signed Snodgrass, we'd have stayed at Upton Park. So that was just a bit of an eye-opener for me, really. It's not really happened. In terms of the Hogan deal, I wasn't as upset and outraged as everybody else, just because clearly the manager didn't want him. And if that is what it boiled down to at the end, I'm okay with that. I don't go in for this thing that Aston Villa outbid us. I think if the manager had wanted him and we'd have paid the extra £1 million, I'm pretty sure that would have been done. I'd rather us not sign him than sign him and him not play, if you know what I mean. I also think you've got to bear in mind that we did our show at the start of the season, at the start of the transfer window, and I wanted Daniel Sturridge, and I said maybe Jermaine Defoe. I just found it very, very hard to get upset that we didn't sign an injury-prone striker from Brentford even though he might have a lot of potential and he might have worked. But do you know what I mean? I was upset about other things aside from that.
Oh, right. When we did that show at the start of the window, I said Scott Hogan before we were linked with them, you know. So but listen, it's not so much that we didn't sign Hogan, okay? I understand why Bilic wouldn't want him, and I agree with the board. Don't buy him if your manager doesn't want him. I agree with that. My issue was that a Slaven Bilic's choice, Scott Hogan or nobody?
Well, Bilic wanted Defoe.
Yeah, but that wasn't in the sort of choice. Bilic didn't get offered Defoe. Bilic got offered Scott Hogan or no striker.
Well, they should have gone and got Defoe. There shouldn't have been no Scott Hogan or no choice. That shouldn't have been part of it. Defoe, 34 years of age or whatever, it's not like he was 50, 60 million. Defoe, I think they said 12 million. Now, maybe that might be a bit rich, but it just should have paid it. If that's what the manager wants, we know it's proven. It's not right. There's no sell-on value. It's not a huge risk because he's going to score goals. He just should have got what the manager wanted, not say, oh, well, you can't have Jermaine Defoe. What you can have is this other player who's a level below, you don't quite fancy. No, I mean, that's not right.
That's what's pissed me off, actually, because I feel like the owners are starting to chuck Bilic under a bus a little bit here, and it ties in with the other topic we're going to discuss, which I think you can probably guess what it's going to be, and everyone else. $25 million we've received for Payet. We've already spent 16 of it on Snodgrass, or 18 million or whatever on Snodgrass and Font, right? So how are you going to buy those players if you didn't sell Dimitri Payet then?
Well, you know, my theory on this is I don't think we ever had that money. I don't think that money. I don't think the money was available. I don't think the money is available. I don't think we're half as rich as we want to. But those accounts are coming out soon. And there's nothing shady going on because you can't. You've got to release the. It's like I have to release my figures. It's just been done. You know, for my business, I have to release the figures. You have to do it. So they'll have to release the figures to Companies House, and everything will be documented and itemised. I reckon when they come out, that you'll find that that staging move cost a lot more than we were told. And I also think you'll find the training ground, the move of training ground, costs an absolute fortune as well. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I don't think there was ever 25 million for a striker or anything. I don't think there was. I think we were always going to have to balance the books.
Well, to be fair, the accounts aren't going to show all that stuff because the accounts have got to May the 31st, 2016. We ain't getting to see the real accounts. The accounts that we want to see, we ain't getting to see that until another 12 months' time. But what that accounts will show us, and this is what I want to see, they took season ticket money early because of the move. So our season ticket money is in those accounts, and that's what's going to be the real eye-opener a little bit because they took deposits. We had to pay up by, what was it, the 31st of June? But a lot of people paid up by the 31st of May. So they're going to have a lot of season ticket money in that accounts, etc. But going back to my point is, if we had to sell Payet to buy players, okay, why are you blaming Bilic for selling Payet? Because you can't say we sold Payet because of Bilic and then say, well, Snodgrass and Font money came out of Payet's thing. You can't have it both ways. They're trying to. I'm telling you, I think they're trying to pin this Payet thing on Bilic, and Bilic might want them gone. But if you had to sell Payet in order to buy players, then it can't just be Bilic's fault. There's got to be some sort of financial leveling strategy to it as well, which is fair enough. But don't lie to us. Don't make on that Bilic, it's all Bilic. And I just feel like they're starting to do that a little bit. I think they're almost trying to. They're naming him. That's what I don't like. They're not just saying, oh, it was an agreement. We all agreed. For me, the board and the manager should be as one. You shouldn't be sniping at each other. Like, remember when Allardyce and David Sullivan was doing it? David Sullivan was on bloody Soccer AM doing it to Allardyce, and then Allardyce was in the paper in his press conferences sniping back and stuff, and it was embarrassing. And I'm starting to feel that it's sort of coming to that with this board and manager, because they're starting to name Bilic. They're starting to say the manager wanted them gone. Why didn't you buy a striker? Well, the manager didn't want a striker. Well, actually, he didn't want Scott Hogan. There's a massive difference in there. There's a huge difference in not wanting a striker, not wanting one particular striker. And this leads me on to another thing, the Demba Ba thing, right? Remember we laughed about it, and it turns out it was true. But we got told on the transfer deadline day, we got told by our owner that they went after Ba but he was unfit until March. Literally hours later, he passed a medical, right? Now, my question is, who wanted Demba Ba? If it was Bilic, then has Bilic been told by our owners that you can't have Demba Ba, he's not fit? And then Demba Ba's signing for his old club. If just to make it worse, he's gone to his old club. So I don't know. It's just me being cynical and stuff. It's just me putting 2 and 2 together, probably coming up with 5. But I just think there's too many if, buts, and maybes floating around at the time, and it's all happening at the same time a little bit, and it's too much things, you know. And I've seen people say, "Oh, Bilic has said that he's happy with the strikers," right? But what else do you expect him to say in the press conference? Oh, I'm not happy with Calleri and Fletcher. They're not good enough, but I've got them for the next 4 months. He's not going to say that. He's not going to destroy them. He's going to come out and back them publicly. He has to. He's the manager.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I keep saying that, and I do. And I think, again, this is, you say you might have it wrong. I might have it wrong. I think a lot of it, I think the club are afraid to come out and say what's really happening. Now, but we're in the days of PR, and we're in the days of spin, and everything is not just football club, but everything. Everyone spins everything now. And it's quite funny because there's actually, the world is going against that, because as much as you will get spin on the television, more and more people are watching things like this. Funny enough, I did one today. I watched watch what we do about the rugby, about the England rugby, and I would rather watch that than watch the fellas on Sky Sports talk about it, because someone is going to go on there and say, "Oh, he's crap. Why is he in the team? He shouldn't be anywhere. He's picking him. He's not picking." They're just a bit more blunt and brutal, and I just think the whole world is going against that spin. And I'm one for, I like a bit of frank speaking. Now, I just wonder if they wouldn't have been better placed saying, no talk of any 25 million striker, no talk of this, that, and the other. What about if they'd have just said this? We're moving to the Olympic Stadium, and for the first season, we are going to be skint. Right? We're going to try and hang on to Payet. We're going to try and survive. We're not going to be able to bid for the top players. We're going to bid for lesser players, but don't expect anything much to come in. We're going to try and get a couple of loans. They may or may not work out, but the season after, we'll have replenished the coffers and we'll go for that. If they'd have done that, I don't think you'd have half as many complaints. People have been set up for it. But it's when we get linked for bigger players, it's when we get linked for these other players, people expect more. And then when you expect more but you get less, it just doesn't work out as well. So I think a lot of this stuff that you're talking about is smoke and mirrors. They're trying to make it sound good when actually, I think the truth would do. I think West Ham fans are big enough to take the truth and to deal with it. And actually, as fans, we set our sights differently. No one talks about Sturridge. No one talks about Dembele. No one talks about Lacazette. We actually do look at the various merits of Gray at Burnley, or Hogan, or players that might be within our financial scope, if you know what I mean. So I just think a bit of honesty would have gone a long way, and the fans would probably be feeling a lot better about it.
You just said that West Ham fans have got a better scope or whatever, but you've just said that you're not happy with Font and Snodgrass. But I get what you're saying. You're saying, actually, because we were sitting here saying we'll be happy with Scott Hogan. We'll be happy with taking a punt on someone, looking at teams around our calibre in Premier League and taking their players. And that's what we've done, I suppose, with the other two. But I get what you're saying. And for me, I just think Bilic has been hard done by in the transfer window again. And it makes sense keeping the funds till summer. I do think that. I do genuinely believe it does. But what I don't like is blaming Bilic for it. If the board came out and said, we collectively, board, scout, manager, have decided it's better to keep the funds for the summer, fine. But don't come out and say, the manager wants to keep the funds. Don't make on that you were willing to open up your checkbook and go get someone, but it's the manager that's saying not to. I just don't believe it. I just do not believe it at all. But we're stuck with Carroll, Calleri and Fletcher until Saka was back. But Calleri came out in the week or recently today, maybe saying that he spoke to Carlos Tevez, and Carlos Tevez convinced him to stay at West Ham because he wants to prove himself. Have you got faith in him? I'm warming to him a little bit because of his attitude more than anything. You know, I want that attitude at West Ham. If he's got the right attitude, and if he can put effort into the pitch as he is into his mouth, then he'll do all right. I think there's something there. He's getting in the right positions. And for me, that's the main thing as a striker. Because as soon as you've scored one, which he kind of has, your confidence will go up a bit. As soon as you score another, your confidence will go up a bit. And strikers, I've always said it, strikers is confidence. Strikers is all about confidence. If you're confident, you'll score. That's why I think you could probably get a League One player that's firing them in. You get him in the Premier League, you'll probably score for a few games, then pat it out because he's just confident. When the ball comes in the box, he's thinking, I'm going to score this, bam. It's not about ability. It is about ability, but I think that's why Jamie Vardy went on a run. He just got a little bit confident. He just flew. He stopped scoring, bang. He's stopped. His goals have dried up completely. He just hit a Sacco did it when he came to us, remember? He scored a goal in his first game and in his second. Everyone was cheering him. He was confident. He used to turn up with a swagger. Then you can hit the goal. You could have put it on a plate and he was struggling. But Calleri, let's go back to Calleri. Are you happy with his comments? Are you optimistic or are you a bit worried?
I think they're two separate things. I'm happy with his comments. Yeah, I mean, how couldn't you be? It shows a nice attitude. That is nice to see. But it's a nice attitude. I mean, Carlos Tevez said no because under Pardew wasn't interested. Kerbishley came in. Kerbishley wasn't interested. Kerbishley came out with the comments, and Kerbishley said, "I don't know why everyone's singing his name. He's not done anything for West Ham." He absolutely had to be badgered into putting Carlos Tevez in. But what my point is, Carlos Tevez first half of his West Ham career, his season was bad, so he would understand that to persevere. So I understand that. They're nice comments from him. He sounds like a nice lad, but they're nice comments from a nice lad that's never going to play more than 4 more months for us. So there's no future in it. So in terms of optimistic, I'm not optimistic. I don't think he's going to play very much. I think even if he does, if he's crap, we don't keep him. If he's brilliant, we don't keep him. So it's nice for him. I'm pleased he's sticking around. Good on him. Seems like a nice lad, but I'm indifferent to it, really.
Yeah, I think it's risky. It's a risky strategy, but it is what it is. And everyone's just got to make do and try and get the best out of him, I suppose. But let's talk about the man whose comments are being finger pointed at, Bilic. This sounds mad, but is he under pressure? I don't get. I'll speak first on this. I don't get why he's under pressure. We got beat by Man City. Man City. Okay, we won the 2 before that. Who beat us before that? Man City and Man U. We beat Swansea before that. We beat Burnley. We beat Hull. It's just we were 11th in the league. That's where we should be.
Yeah, I don't think he should be under pressure. He is under the microscope. Do you think
it's the way we're losing these games that's putting pressure on him?
Yeah,
because we're getting spanked.
Yeah, we are. I said to you last night, I don't think it really matters. I don't think I've never thought Bilic will see out his contract. I just never. He's not someone I ever saw. Or what should I say? Well, we won't get renewed one. I also don't think he'll be sacked mid-season. So there's no pressure on him, but he's under scrutiny. I mean, I know he is being watched. He is being watched. There's people at the club who are watching him. You know, that's clear. I do think he's being undermined by this Mancini stuff, which I'm sure is on your list to talk about. Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him. He's such a nice guy, and I think there is a little bit much pressure on him. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think it's hard. I think it was tough, Mancini being. If that was me, I would have avoided, even if it was the end goal to have Mancini at the club. I would have done everything I could to make sure he wasn't in that ground because I just think it undermines the manager.
I think the window's undermined him as well, but I think the Mancini thing, whether it's true or not, but the point is we can go back as far as November and see us linked to Mancini. Okay, so this is a 2-year-old a 2-month-year-old. I keep saying year, a 2-month-old rumor. That's it. Mancini's a 2-month-old rumor, so it's just bad darts by all. It's bad darts by Mancini to turn up. Now I know he's
you're right about that.
He can turn up if he wishes, but given that he will know he's been linked with it, he's been questioned about it. Do you want to come back to the Premier League? And he's said that he wants to come back to the Premier League. Okay, so he knows he's been linked with it. So I think it's bad darts by him to turn up because if the board haven't contacted him, which there's a lot of talk that they have already spoken to him before when he was going through their last rough run, I think it's bad for him to turn up and almost say to the owners, "Hello, Cooey, I'm up here. Hi, David. I'm up here. I'm sitting in your stand watching your game a little bit." And if he has been sort of invited, because the cynic in me says it's a perfect opportunity for the board to get him in the ground with sort of a cover-up going, but he used to be City's manager. He's in London anyway because he was at the Watford Arsenal game, etc. It's almost like a little bit too convenient. And I don't know. The cynic in me just says that there's something in it because he's, like you said, we all know he's been watched, but we also all know that Mancini's probably top of their list if he was to walk away tomorrow. I expect Mancini to be in for an interview at some point next week.
But there's something you've got to bear in mind with Bilic. Okay, Bilic was fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth choice. They interviewed Benitez. They went in for Klopp. They wanted Unai Emery. There was rumours Eddie
Bielsa.
Howe, Bielsa, David Moyes. They went in for David Moyes. Bilic was well down the list, and Bilic hung on and hung on and hung on until all the other runners had fallen by the wayside. And basically, he was the only horse left in the race, really, wasn't he? And in the end, so it's like when they line up in the school football yards and everyone's picking their teams, and there's one kid who can't play football left. It was probably you. You were probably that kid at school, Gio, weren't you?
I was the one picking the person that was left.
Oh, right, okay, and yeah,
You were the one left, and I was looking for someone. When we launched this YouTube channel, I was like, who could come on and start a YouTube channel with me? I looked around, I spoke to people, and then I came to you.
yeah. As I stumbled and stuttered, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I got some silky skills on the pitch, mate. Don't worry about me. I could have done a better job. Anyway, I won't go into that. Yeah, what was I saying?
Bilic was last choice, basically.
He was the last pick. He was the last pick. So I think with that in mind, when anyone's the last pick, they're going to be under pressure just from that, because it was, no matter what anybody says. Again, you can spin it all you want. He wasn't he wasn't the fancied one, but a special one. The fancy. He's not the fancied one.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my first choice either. It was probably my fifth or sixth choice as well, and that's been generous. My first choice was Monk, and but he's now my first choice today, though. He still is my first choice today. I'm still 100% behind him. Like I just, like last season, he's almost like a victim. He's almost like a victim of his own success because he did so well last season. He set the standard so high. Right, you gave us entertaining football. You gave us high-scoring games. You gave us big wins against big clubs. You gave us seventh in the league. And now we're 11, which is probably where we should have finished last season. Now we're 11th. It's like, well, it's not quite as good as last season, is it, Slav? But I just think because he's overachieved last year, he's sort of shot himself in the foot. But I feel sorry for him. I mean, there's stuff that concerns me. His subs, his tactics that sometimes are questionable. He's not the best manager in the league, but we're not the best football club in the league. We've got no right to have Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, or Antonio Conte because they are the best managers and they are the best and biggest clubs. That's not us. I think he's the right fit for us. He's the right fit for our fans, I think. We have to remember we went through 4 years of Sam Allardyce, no one would want to go through that again because why did everyone hate Allardyce? Not just his tactics, but it was the way he treated us fans, the way he had disrespect for our club. We talk about Payet having disrespect for our club. Allardyce, while he wasn't extreme as Payet, he also had disrespect. What is the West Ham way? Who is Bobby Moore? Oh yeah, the Fulham player. Things like that, right? I'm not saying Mancini would be like that, but sometimes the grass just isn't greener, and I don't know why we'd take the risk of gambling because we know where we're getting with Slav, and it frustrates me at times. But I'll tell you what, Winston Reid frustrated me sometimes, but I still wouldn't swap him. Aaron Cresswell's been frustrating me this season. I still don't want to see a new left back. But my point is, we ain't the best or the biggest club yet.
No, and I think you make a great point, but actually you do sort of bring it on to another point, which is you could say Reid, you could say Cresswell, you could say Mark Noble as well, okay, because they are all part of the club where we are now. But the whole ambition of the club of moving to the new stadium was to go on to the next level. So you would hope very quickly that the stadium and the profile of the club can help generate enough money that the whole point is that we start bidding for those players and start competing with the top teams. So actually at that point, you would think, well, maybe at that point, Cresswell was not in the team or Noble's not in the team. Obviously, we have to have some identity, but whoever. The point is you are bringing in players who cost, you have a £30 million midfielder, a £25 million left back and stuff like that. If that's the idea, then you have to follow that process further, which is then you start looking for one of those top managers that you say.
But Bilic could be one of those top managers. We don't know yet because until you give him the players that are good enough, we just don't know. We just won't find out.
I don't. I don't think that's going to happen.
But I think it should. Until they change the manager, they need to give Bilic 100% backing and commitment. And until they do that, Bilic has not had a fair crack of the whip. If you think about what he's done over this last 2 years, he's had to go through a stadium change. He's had to go through, well, he's had a stingy board, etc. He's had to go through the Payet saga. He's had to go through a lot of stuff in a very short space of time. And I think he's dealt with it really well, considering, managers have walked away for a lot less than we've thrown at Slav.
Oh, but big time. And he's not even paid very much. Well, he's paid more than you and me, but compared to other managers, he's not paid much. Sam Allardyce,
board, really, doesn't it?
Sam Allardyce was brought in to do a job. How many times have you heard that? And he was. And that job was to get us promoted. Just get us promoted. And it was crap as well. We were the third best team in the division that year in the championship. We got promoted. Then we came in and we
did well. The first year we did well in Premier League. Football was beatable. Finished mid-table, never in danger of going down.
But he did his remit, and that's the point. Sam Allardyce did what he had to do, and that was get the club promoted and stabilise the club, okay? And then I don't know, I'm just talking nonsense on the internet, right? But I got no inside information. Then now I think we're phase 2. So phase 2 is exactly what you said. Stadium transition, moving it over and blah, blah. And I think that is what Bilic is in to do. And as we said, he wasn't even first choice to do that. I think when phase 3 comes in, which is buying bigger players, I think whoever was in for phase 2, and at the moment it's Bilic, would have been gone anyway. I think then they are going to start looking, or they sell. I'm just going to read you something, okay? This is off the forum, and this is from, this is not necessarily what I think, but I just think it's written really well. This is by Frog Eye, and you probably read this earlier on our forum. On our forum, we got a thread about Roberto Mancini being in the stand. And he basically, Frog Iron says, I think Slaven is precisely what the owners want at this point in time. He's cheap. He is undemanding. He'll work within the budgets that they set. He's not likely to be stalked or courted by other clubs big enough to tempt him away. He's unlikely to give bad press about the board and rock the boat. He seems to be a team man, someone who will try and do things that are good for the business and not just for his own reputation. And then he goes on to say some other stuff, which I won't say, but I think well written. And do you know what? You sort of read that and you think, actually, there's a lot of sense in that. He's a good fit for West Ham and a good fit for what the board want at the moment.
It boils down, because I asked on the forum as well, I said, my big question now is Bilic a yes man? I'm starting to think he is. I'm starting to think that the board have him at the end of their whip, and whenever they want to crack it, they can, because it's the way he's come out and he's took the blame for the whole striker thing. He's took the blame for the Payet thing. He's taken the blame for everything. But after the Payet thing, he did that presser, and they said about Payet, he just said, oh, Payet's got nothing to apologise for, got nothing to apologise to me for. Well, it's just totally fine with the whole Payet thing, and it's quite weird the way the board are saying Bilic wanted them gone, Bilic wanted them gone. Then when they went to Bilic said, I've got no problem, got no issue with the player. And it's just, when Payet said, oh, I've spoken to the manager, I've got nothing to apologise to the manager for. So it's quite clear that actually them two seem like they've got a decent enough relationship. But yeah, for some reason Payet's getting the blame, and I just think this stuff doesn't add up a little bit. And I think Frog Iron's right there. It's just. He's the right manager for now, but I just think they need to give him a proper summer. Go get the good players and put the pressure on. Because right now, Bilic, as much as I want Bilic's got an excuse. I've not been backed in a window. You need to remove that excuse before we can judge him, right? So then if he does fail, you can say, well, we've backed you in the window. This ain't good enough. It's time to say cheerio, and like you said, shake hands after the end of his contract. But there's a couple of theories we'll chuck out there. We'll put out the first one, which is by Tom Down, and he says that the Mancini link is a PR stunt to try and get the season ticket renewals up, so that fans think that we're going to get Mancini, that we are going to get a big manager. And sort of, remember last year we all had like you just spoke about, we all got the big promise. Yeah, season ticket there, I'll have that. I'm looking forward to watching Lacazette. Tom Down saying that maybe they're doing this Mancini link. I mean, the only reason I'm taking note of this Mancini thing is because it come from Darren Lewis. The only two people I trust to an extent with West Ham is Darren Lewis and Ken Dyer. That's the only two journalists I will properly listen to. But Tom Down suggesting that it's maybe a PR stunt by the club.
Oh, I think they could have done a bit better than that. That's like saying you've only taken your car for a spin round a the blocks to impress the girls. You're driving around a Ford Fiesta.
It's realistic enough, though. It's realistic enough to sort of think, well, we could probably get him. He's out of work. He wants in the Premier League. Yeah.
He's I don't know. He's moody. He's abrasive. He falls out with everyone. He's only won trophies at the very biggest clubs where he's had huge budgets. I don't know. I understand what he's saying, and I'm not disputing the theory, because I think ticket sales will be down, as you know. I think we'll do less season tickets next season than we did this season. You know, I think that. I just wonder if they wouldn't have selected someone a bit more of a sexy reputation.
But I'll tell you what, though.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, and I'm not calling people out here, but in that live chat when we talk about Mancini, I'd say about 3/4 of that live chat said yes to Mancini, and I think social media is quite the same, actually. A lot of people are saying actually Mancini would be good. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't say no to Mancini if Bilic did go away and Mancini was one lined up. I'd say, well, you know, is he a step up from Bilic? I'm not convinced. And like you said, he has got all those traits that you've just described. Yeah. And that's why I don't think he'll ever get the job, because there's no way he could work with David Sullivan. One of them would end up chinning each other very quickly.
Yeah, what I just read out from Frog Iron about Bilic, Mancini is the polar opposite. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be a funny one, actually, for them to get.
I dug out an article. I thought he did this. I was convinced myself he did this at City. So I had a look last night, and he did. When Mark Hughes was at City, Mancini went and sat in those bloody stands and watched City play while Mark Hughes was in the dugout. And then that's when, straight after that game, Mark Hughes basically got told, you're out, Mancini's coming in. And that's why I do not like Mancini sitting in our crowd. I do not like it at all, because he's done it before, Mancini. He's got form for this, he turned up at City and sat there watching Mark Hughes as the manager. And I thought, that's, you know, I don't like that at all. I don't like that sort of, I don't know, you're putting pressure on the manager. He's already under pressure. He doesn't need someone breathing down his neck, sitting up in the stand watching him. And David Sullivan's sitting there with Mancini literally a couple of seats away. You don't need that sort of scenario. And I just think it's poor from all to have that scenario in the first place. If Bilic is going to fail, let Bilic fail at his own accord. Give him the best tools and let him fail at his own accord. Stop putting unnecessary pressure on him. But you know, like you're right though. Mancini ain't had a small budget. He won it. He won the league at Inter Milan because Juventus wasn't in the league, and then as soon as when he went back and Juventus was in the league, he got sacked because he couldn't do it. You know, he won at City, but that's when City were going about throwing cash about, and he almost didn't win the league because that was the year Man U were about 8 points ahead with 6 games to go and somehow managed to blow it. You know, Man U lost it. You know, as much as City won it, Man U lost it.
And Joey Barton, ridiculously, Joey Barton had a big part to play in Man City's title win, didn't he? Even though he wasn't playing for him. So yeah, I think I don't know. He is abrasive. He could start a fight in an empty room as well. I don't know. I just think it's a funny. I think I understand the theory. I think if I wanted to sell season tickets, I'd probably be linking us with a much better player. And mind you, they tried that last season, didn't they? I guess and. Maybe they are trying something else. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Mancini on his own puts bums on seats. Mancini plus 100 million to spend. Now that will get people renewing their season tickets.
If there's 100 million, if there's 100 million, give it to Slav. That's all I want. Give it to Slav. Give the 100 million to Slav, and let him work with Tony Henry properly. None of this. Do you want him? No, right. You're not getting anyone. Work with him properly. Find out what he wants. Find out the style of. There's a reason you won't want Scott Hogan. It probably doesn't fit the style of striker he wants or something. So find out the style of striker he wants and go and get to fit his criteria. If he wants a big man so he can swap like for like with Carlo, go get a big man for him. If he wants to play that style, you know, there can't be anything worse for a manager than having Carroll out and you've got to change your whole system because your next striker just cannot play that sort of role. But anyway, let's move on from question Bilic because we're sort of running out of time. But there's 2 more Bilic things I want to bring up, but they're not really about Mancini. But before we do that, Gonzo's talking about season tickets next year. You can now spend your money. Wait, if you've got credit in your club transaction as of Monday, you can now buy match tickets, upgrade your tickets, or put it towards next season's season ticket renewal. You can spend that credit as of Monday, conveniently, just in time for those season ticket renewals. Who would have thought it? But 2 things. Well, first of all, the font came out and said after the game, after City, straight away, he said some players did not stick to the manager's tactics. Is that alarming a little bit?
Well, it's alarming for a new player to come out and start criticising his teammates.
Leadership. It's a sign of leadership, in my opinion. I think it is. I think he's sort of taking responsibility and saying, well, hang on, before you go give my manager stick, my manager had a game plan, but us 11 on the pitch, or certain individuals in the 11, did not do what they were told. They did not carry it out. And I was trying to work out who it is, because it's not going to be Font or Reed, because he's not going to call out his centre-back partner. So to me, I think he's blaming the middle two pairing or Antonio and Lanzini, because I think Paguli was as crap as he was getting back a little bit. But Obiang and Noble were, I think everyone agrees they were shocking against City. So I think maybe them two did not stick to what they were told and stuff. And then it's also the Creswell pass at the start when he gave away the first goal. Perhaps Bilic said, just boot it out, do not take risks. And so Creswell's like bang in the middle of the pitch away, 1-0. And Font's probably standing there going, why are you not listening to the gaffer? He's a fresh pair of eyes, Font. That's what I think's interesting. He's come in with a fresh pair of eyes. He's thinking, hang on, is this what you normally do around here?
Yeah, well, there's leadership and there's talking to the press about it, isn't there? He could have done that leadership. He could have gone into the changing room. If that's the case.
Noble did it. Noble did it. Against Arsenal, remember, Noble came out and said, we're all crap. The players are crap. The players aren't trying. They're not trying in training, blah, blah, blah. Noble called out his team. I think your point.
Yeah, we now know that was a veiled message. Hold on, what's going on? Oh, hello. Hello, excuse me. Thank you.
Oh, I've run out, man. I'm not going to say. What I will say to your point is Font's not the captain. This ain't his place to call out players.
Yeah, listen, I don't mind. I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill. I did see it. I didn't think anything of it until you've brought it up then.
I thought it was interesting. The other interesting comment, Zaza today saying that the reason, well, it's not saying that's why I feel, but he was saying about training. He was saying when he turned up, he was surprised they only trained for 40 minutes and, it's not how he wants to go, etc. Is that alarming? Valencia's done it as well. Bilic has done it. Noble's done it. There's a lot of people pointing to training.
Yeah, that did get my attention. That one did. Not bothered about what Font said. Yeah, that was concerning. Particularly, Zaza's biggest critic. But there's one thing they know about. That's fitness. Okay, the Italians have legendary reputation for their fitness regimes. Yeah, that's a worry. If an Italian international, crikey, barely call him that, can you? Thinks our fitness is not good enough, then that is worrying. And the fact it's been said by other people as well, then that's a slight concern.
It's not just training though. It's not comments though. It's on the pitch. We look pooped after an hour or something. City they could have had about 10 the other night if they really wanted to play like a top condition, but we look knackered. Everyone's saying we're struggling with a big pitch. Well, it's not necessarily the size of the pitch. It's probably just because we can't cover it. The pitch is 10% bigger than Upton Park. It's 10% bigger, right? So it's quite a lot in terms of square footage. But you should be prepared for that. You should be conditioned for that. You've been playing when you go to Old Trafford, the Etihad. You're playing on that bigger pitch anyway. So while you're not playing on it every week, you're still, it's not like a surprise. It's not something you haven't done. But I think that's worrying. I think that's something that needs to be nipped in the bud ASAP. Bilic needs to take control of that, actually. But what I will say is the two players that have left us and commented on it have been two big flops in Valencia and Zaza. They have been two of the biggest flops. So maybe Zaza's seen Enner Valencia using it and thinking, I'll just use that as well, actually. But
they did both run around a lot, to be fair. They were both crap, and they both couldn't hit a donkey's what's it with a banjo, but they both did run around a lot. I'll give them that.
Yeah, so maybe that's tied in with like Creswell's form and that, because he looks crap as he is. He also looks unfit. Mark Noble looks like he's just dying. He looks like he's
like a different player. Cresswell's like a different player this season. I wonder if he's. I don't know. Crikey, I couldn't tell my son. I wonder if he's off to Liverpool at the end of the season. I don't know.
I think everyone's a bit worried about that. But right, let's scoot through this because time. Right, quick news. Ghana's out the African nations, but Ajayi still has one more game to play. He's got to play that third place qualifier on Sunday, but he should be back for the West Brom game unless they give him it off. You can get your bricks. If you've got a brick at Upton Park, a personalised one, only 200 of them have been salvaged out of the however many there are. And there's a video. Have you seen the video?
No, I've seen the stills.
Yeah, I've seen the video of it, and it's half of it's still standing, but the other half's just crumpled on the floor.
I don't like those. I can't watch those Upton Park pictures and stuff. I can't hate it.
I actually don't have a problem with the demolition company doing that because that's their job. You get X amount of pounds, you go in there and smash it up. My problem lies with, so the club should have almost sourced that before the demolition people come in. So should have got someone and said,
Oh yeah.
can you chip all them out, please? And we'll return them to whoever it is.
Well,
And then the
I'll
demolition.
tell you what, I'm going to put this out here now, just in case there's anyone that watches these that has any influence over it whatsoever. What I don't like is the fact there's still loads and loads of seats in there, because as many people that watch this will know, we run the boat barges in front of the stadium. I'd love to get hold of 8 or 10 of those seats and actually make our own bench, like as a homage to Upton Park, and have a row of seats there. So just in case anybody wants to drop some seats around my house or anything, not that I condone breaking into a building site, for health and safety.
They tried to sell them for £25 each, because people got pissed off because why are you selling them, trying to make money? But I think what they were trying to say was, well, someone's got to go in there and unscrew them all for you, so we're going to charge 25 quid, etc. So in the end, people complained. So the site manager said, right, that's enough, no more, we're not doing any more. Then a couple of people broke in, posted it online, etc. Then heaps of people tried to break in, and then that company's security was getting called into question, and it was affecting future business. You know, the site manager is then in charge of a site which is getting broken into. You know, it's not good PR. So he was then getting pissed off at that. And then what's happened is someone went down and said they got a free one and posted it. The next day, apparently 500 people turned up wanting a free seat. And the site manager was like, no, you're not getting a free seat. And there's people trying to just barge in saying, I'm here for my seat. And he was like, no, you had your chance to pay 50 quid from the club to get your seat. It's not my fault you didn't buy it. It's not my fault the club haven't given them away for free. If someone's giving them away for free, it should be a football club, not me. I'm here to smash the thing up, unfortunately. Now, the site manager is not a football fan. He's got no... He doesn't support any football team, never mind West Ham. So he's there to smash it up. And there was people trying to get in, and that's why it stopped it. That's why he said, right, that's it. No one's just getting nothing anymore. I'm fed up of this. I'm getting too much stick. It's costing time. Time costs money. Away with you. And the reason I know this is because I've spoken to someone that works on the site, because I also tried to get a load of seats for our little adventure out of the boats. And I actually tried to get a few to give away, actually, because I thought if I could get some to give away, then I'm going to grab them. But I wasn't going to get those seats by hopping over a fence type thing.
Well, listen, I'll put it out there now. I've got my own construction company. I've got a van. I drive a van there. I've got all the health and safety licenses. I'll drive in. I'll fill it up with seats. We'll put a load on the boat, and then I'll give them out for free for whatever's left.
Well, we'll look into that. I have spoke to someone on the construction site, but we'll keep your eyes peeled. If you want to see, keep your eyes peeled, because we might have a few to give away soon, actually. Say no more. Frank Lampard retired. He obviously the owner of the famous song 10 Men Couldn't Carry, which is quite ironic, really, because Frank Lampard spent most of his career trying to carry 10 men for Chelsea. For me, this is going to be controversial because of Mr. Rio Ferdinand, but for me, he was the best player our academy's produced since I've been alive.
You want me to comment?
Do you agree or do you disagree? Because I think the only contender for my age is Rio.
From your age, yeah, I don't think it's too controversial. You only look at what I would say is him, Rio, and Carrick. They've all won the Champions League, haven't they? They've all won league titles. I guess Joe Cole did as well. But yeah, you'd obviously say Lampard had a better career than Joe Cole. So yeah, I don't think that's too controversial. What a great academy we had at that point, you know.
What I will say about those seats, just going back, has triggered something. Hammer and Talk's actually giving one of his seats away. He's got some. He's given one away. We'll put the link to the Twitter post below. So if you're on Twitter, check it out, and you can enter to win his seat. Stadium tour. We did a stadium tour. We've done a video. It's on our channel. You've probably done it. You probably entered. But on the next time me and Gonzo do a cup of tea, one of these shows, we'll be picking the two winners. 2 years will win a pair to go have a look around our new ground. No bricks. You can't take one of those seats home either. But we won't tell you who's won. Gonzo, is there anything else you want to touch upon? Do you have a certain competition on Hammer's Chat that people can vote for?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we do. We've got a flag competition. Now, we set up a GoFundMe page, which the details
below.
will be
Link below.
underneath there. What we're going to do is, as everybody knows, the club have sort of given permission for some people to bring flags in, display flags, as long as they're 2 meters or less. We're commissioning a Hammers Chat flag, and what we're doing is we're asking you fellas and gals to vote on the designs. So we've got 7, or is it 9? We've got 9 designs, I believe, on our forum. Again, link below. There's going to be a lot of, there's going to be like War and Peace.
It's designed, the flags, by the way, are designed by fans. Me and Gonzo haven't designed any of these flags. These are not our designs. The community put the money in, the community have designed them, and the community will be choosing it. We will be picking, you are picking the winner. It's not me and Gonzo.
No, although we have had a vote, it has to be said. We have both voted ourselves. So, yeah, if you could pop along to the forum and give it a vote, and then obviously the winner, that's the flag that will get commissioned. Any additional revenue, we're actually getting a banner, which we're having built for the boat as well, for the boat bars, a banner for that. And also anything above and beyond the £500 mark, we're going to share the proceeds with John, Joe, and the Bobby Moore Cancer Trust.
Yeah, so keep your donations coming in if you can. We're going to shut out Monday night, though. We're only leaving until Monday night. But once, like Gonzo said, if there's anything over 500, we're going to chop it in half. And half's going to Joe and Joe. Another half will go towards other Hammers Chat, which you're going to see, actually. We've ordered one part of it, which you'll see, because Gonzo's launching a new series. We're not going to tell you what it is. It's secret.
Secret series. It's going to be called The Secret. No, it's not really.
When are you going to? When's the first one?
Well, we've just been so busy at the moment. 2 games in a week, transfer window. I didn't really want to swamp it in. So I think, looking at it, so what have we got? We've got Southampton, which I'm going down to that tomorrow. Then we've got a week before West Brom. Is that right?
Yeah.
I may well. I'm going to launch it either next week or the week after. Obviously, the moment we know we're going to launch it, we'll spread it on.
After West Brom, because the item you need is coming to my house, and I need to give it to you.
There you go.
So after West Brom, Gonzo will be launching a new series. It's completely new. We've never done it before. I don't think it's been. To be fair, Sontag's not far off it. Sontag says, "Is it called Gob on a Bog?"
Why not? I like it. I was actually gonna. Do you know what? I was actually gonna do it on my. No, I don't mean do that on my kitchen. I was gonna do the show in my kitchen for that one. I might.
Well, you could do it Gob on a Bog, or maybe Loser on the Loo. You know, there's plenty of options you've got there.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'll
leave the toilet.
I'll leave you. I'll leave you in suspense on that one.
Can we create a thread with votes on the?
No, because you don't know what the format is. You never know. It might be me sort of skydiving, with a GoPro on my head, and then that just won't be appropriate, will it? So people have to see the format of the show, but we think it's going to be a bit of fun anyway.
If you've enjoyed the show, we've got 5 minutes left, 5-10 minutes left, so we're going to come to the live chat in a minute, because we like doing that. We like involving you. If you like the show, drop a like on it. Make sure you subscribe. But live chat, get your stuff coming. Questions, comments. We'll read out comments as well. Anything that you want to discuss or you want to ask, read them out. Connor Matthews, Gonzo. Connor Matthews says number 4 is his. He's designed a flag. Number 4.
Hold on, Connor.
Is that not the one you were telling me is crap?
I did. Oh, hello. The voting's going up. Number 4. Bear with me, Connor. I'm going to dig out your Let's have a look. I would not be so rude at all. Yeah, that's right. That was the crap one. No, I'm only joking, Connor. I'm only joking. I like the way he's got that old grunge effect on the castle, isn't he? It's nice. It's a nice design.
Is that the old one? Is that the old one?
Yeah.
That was really popular on Twitter. I put that on Twitter, and it's probably the most popular one. Tom Atherton, young Tom R. Tom says, "Do you think Slaven Bilic is too nice and too genuine for his own good?" Now, you weren't here for the deadline show, and we spoke about this on our transfer deadline show. And me and Tom were saying we think Bilic is actually just too nice. He's too nice to stand up to the board. He's too nice because he wants to keep Calleri and make him good instead of admit that he's crap, slap his arse and send him off. He's too nice with, like Payet. This thing's been going for ages. He tried to fix it rather than just go out the door.
Maybe, but I think the Malfitano thing and a couple of others have probably shown that he can be ruthless when he wants to be, when he needs to be. I actually think his nice character is one of his endearing qualities. I think do you think maybe there's a spin on it that if he sort of likes you and trusts you, he will bend over backwards for you. But if he just doesn't like you, he's just got no chance. But do you think maybe there's sort of a line that he doesn't quite know how to push someone over that line once you're in his little No, I wouldn't. Listen, the world is full of different characters. If that's what he's like and he looks after those that are close to him, I quite like that. That's an endearing quality. I don't think that, I'm not going to look at his character. I think he's got bigger issues tactically. I think his character's sound.
Ryan Hadlow says, "Do we get free haggis?" I'm not sure what he's talking about. It must be if he votes on the flag.
I might have one in the toilet.
But if he wants a free haggis, he can come to my house and I'll make him haggis. Right, Lewis says, who do you think will be appointed if Bilic goes? Well, this is quite tough because we don't. It depends when he goes, really, doesn't it? If he goes now, your caliber manager is going to be a lot different to the summer. But let's just say we went now. Who would you get?
I think if he went now, let's go with Benitez because Mancini's too easy to say.
Well, JP Hammer is now saying that he designed flag number 3. That must have been another crap one you're telling me about.
Oh, no, that's John. Hello, John.
Raymond says, how many more games would you give Bilic?
Bilic gets till the end of the season, as far as I'm concerned, at least, you know.
I'm giving him until the end of the season plus next season, at least, assuming he gets a proper transfer window. So my answer is 45. Gonzo's about 8 minimum. That's our minimums. Mr. Big Bear says, do you think Bilic's unhappy attitude is running through the team? Good point, actually. And it's something I said, actually. When we're winning, Bilic is the best bloke in the world. He's kicking the ball. His arms are waving about. When we start getting beat, Bilic doesn't move. He loves it when we're winning, but as soon as we're getting beat, he seems to just sort of freeze a little bit. And actually, this is a stat that worries me. Last season, we were comeback kings. This season, we've only come from behind once in the league, and that was against Middlesbrough, which we drew. We've not won a game since conceding the first goal in the game, which is a bit worrying.
Hello, Bez, mate. I think anyone with a big personality, whatever mood they're in, rubs off on anyone around them. I've known plenty of people in my time, and who've got big personalities, and sometimes if they walk in a room, if they're in a great mood, then they lift the room. If they're sort of depressed and angry or whatever, and they walk in the room, they can really lower the ambience in the room, if you like. So I don't know, but it's certainly possible.
The live chat are loving it. Mets are beating Marseille. Dimitri Payet was on the bench tonight as well, but they're completely loving it.
Newmarket wanted a score update, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
There's some football on tonight, and he said, "I'm only going to watch your show if you give me a score update in the middle of it."
Well, Mets are winning anyway. Right, let's wrap it up there. Gonzo, any final words before we bail?
No, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. Really looking forward to tomorrow, which is really my birthday celebration. So taking my son and my old man.
Mate, you're plugging your birthday, aren't you?
Presents, mate. Am I going to get presents if I don't plug my birthday? So I'm saying it loud so my wife hears. That's really the point, because she might have gone.
She watches these streams anyway. You should be watching you.
Will she? She's not. I can assure you she's not.
Well, Gonzo, listen, you were telling me how you really wanted that new Xbox game and a new phone. So I really hope she gets you that.
Yeah, the new Google phone and the Xbox game is a Tom Clancy one. It's not out yet. It's coming out next month, I believe. Mrs. Gonzo, thank you very much. No, but I'm taking my son and Granddad's going. My old man's going as well. So the 3 of us are going. That should be a really, really enjoyable day out.
Ryan says, happy birthday, Gonzo, for tomorrow. He's not been listening, right? It's Sunday, mate. It's not tomorrow.
No, but tomorrow I'm celebrating.
3 times he's mentioned it.
I'm celebrating tomorrow.
Well, 3 times you've mentioned Sunday, and Ryan's still got it on. But anyway, tomorrow review live straight after the game. Sunday, Gonzo's vlog. He's putting a vlog up on his birthday. So
sorry. Thank you, Ryan. Sorry, that's rude. I didn't say thank you. I did start to do a vlog the other night, as Gio knows, and I didn't do the vlog in the end. So I'm going to do a proper vlog, as Gio's saying. It just got so bad, and I thought, you know what? I've already got one 5-0 loss vlog to Man City on the channel. I couldn't be bothered, so I didn't complete the vlog. So sorry, you didn't miss anything.
But it's Gonzo's birthday on Sunday. He'll be putting a vlog up, so just come watch it. Just feel sorry for everybody's birthday. Come watch it. Wish him happy birthday. But hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Everyone that's watching it, we'll be back. Subscribe, like, share it on social media, follow us on social media, donate to our GoFundMe, come vote for the flag, everything. Be nice people to us. Gonzo, say goodbye.
Goodbye, Gonzo.
I didn't say goodbye, Gonzo. I said just Gonzo, say goodbye. You got that wrong.
Right,
good joke. That back.
But it's my birthday on Sunday.
Okay, well, enjoy your 50th. That's all from me. Good night.